What's happening, Black Man Lab? We on. Brother Paul, we got Paul in, man. He's just coming in here like a G. Hey, we just are excited to see you all. We are having an incredible day. We're getting ready to rock out. I'm trying to turn my sound down because I'm trying to watch it live too, right? This is beautiful, man. This is Black Man Lab. As you all know, we've started Black Man Lab really to try to reach our sons, connect with them. Oh, we got Keenan Walker from Let Us Make Man, one of our founders in the house. This is going to be a all the way lit live. Awaken the Genius, Keenan Walker. You see him repping, and he's still repping them Falcons, man. This is a Georgia boy for real. So, y'all, we've got an incredible evening of just how we affirm ourselves as Black men, because so often we know the world doesn't affirm us, so we have to do that for ourselves. So we got my boy Marty. Marty has been holding this thing down hard. He has like been the anchor, when I'm off running and Joe is off working and Fred, Marty's like, I'm locked in, y'all. And of course, our brother Mark Lawson, strong as he can possibly be on holding the comms down. So welcome everybody to Black Man Lab. Marty, how you doing, brother?
Man, I couldn't be any better, Molly. Just excited for this conversation tonight, man. Excited to, it's not often anymore that you and I get to do these together. So excited that, the old dynamic duos back in the saddle. And we got some super powerful brothers on here, and Brother Keenan and Brother Paul, who have been part of the Black Man Lab and doing great work. So excited to have them, and just looking forward to it, man.
And Sabri, he's been a part too. He riding around in the darkness of his car right now.
Right.
But this is one of our young, strong brothers from Next Level Boys Academy. And I told him, man, he can't be driving in the dark, man. I thought you Alpha supposed to be operating in the light. So I don't know what's happening, man. But we're gonna let him get situated. He said he was out doing some real live work. So we ain't gonna
appreciate you, brother.
Too hard.
Hey, I don't know who told you about that light, man. They told me he was almost an alpha back in the day, but I'm gonna stay out of that, man.
Hey, what are y'all talking about? Cut it out. So look, y'all, here's how we start. We know that everybody's been ripping and running, even in this pandemic, in this virtual reality. Some folks have probably been watching way too much news today, following 45 tweets and all of that. So we just want to center ourselves. And this is something that we do when we're physically together, but we also want to do this virtually. So we want to just take some deep breaths, just some centering breaths, so that we can be in this space together as brothers. And all of the rest of the world, all of what else is happening, we're going to put them on pause. We here with each other. So we're not going to be distracted. We're going to be focused on each other. So take a deep one. Release. Another deep one. Release. And another deep one. Release. Thank you, brothers. Brother Marty, you want to bring us in on the libations?
Yeah, absolutely. As Molly said, we like to make sure that we are centered and we are in a place to take on information and just really clear our mind. And a big part of that is recognizing where we came from and the shoulders of those who we stand on. And part of that is us doing libation. If we were in person, we do this, pour into a plant to bring our ancestors into the space. You know what? Matter of fact, I see my brother Jared Grant has jumped in. I was going to do this on his behalf, but Jared, I know you got some stuff going on, so I want you to do the libations for us. Good. Could you do that for me, brother?
Absolutely, brother. How y'all doing tonight, everybody? And welcome to Black Man Lab. How y'all doing?
Good, brother. We thought you giving a keynote speech tonight too.
Right.
It's it's pre-recorded, so I've already done it. How y'all doing?
Okay, well, you should have told us that.
But I'm gonna jump on as. I'm sorry, I'm on that YouTube too. Hold on. But I'm gonna jump on at 7 just to because it'll be going live as well, so we'll have some live components as well. But welcome, brothers. Thank you. We want to always honor our ancestors, and we here at the Black Man Lab like to call on our ancestors and put them in our mind and spirit, those who came before us, who paved the way for all that we do, and who sacrificed and struggled for us. And so we like to honor them. So just think of some of the great ancestors that came before us, you know, nationally, internationally, some of our just great ancestors. So lock them in your hearts and mind for about 3 to 5 seconds. Now everybody raise your fists and everybody say Ashe, Ashe. All right. And now, brothers, I want you to think about those in your own family line, those 10,000 ancestors that came together to create you. You know, you're something unique in this universe. You stand on their shoulders. That bloodline created you. So let's just honor your own bloodline and think about your own bloodline and put them in your hearts and mind right now for about 3 to 5 seconds. And 1, 2, 3, everybody say Ashe, Ashe. All right, brothers, thank you very much. If we can say Ashe 3 times. 1, 2, 3, Ashe, Ashe, Ashe.
All right.
Well, brothers,
Brother Grant.
thank you, Brother Jared. Congratulations on giving the keynote as well. Definitely are going to look at the recording after the fact, brother. We know you drop the science as you do, Professor, so we appreciate you. We just want to today talk about how Black men affirm themselves. And so we're going to be real strict with the time, y'all, because we want to hit a couple things. So the first thing is we want you to start, give us 3 minutes of just introduce yourself in terms of professionally what you do. Because part of what we want brothers and young sisters to understand is that regardless of your profession, you have to affirm your Blackness, regardless, wherever you find yourself. When I was an officer in the Navy, I had to affirm my Blackness. As a lawyer, affirm. As an activist, affirm. I know Marty in the corporate world, you damn sure have to affirm because they will tear you down. Yep. And it's not about just combating what they do to us, but it's about realizing what the Most High and the Creator has put on us to be. And so if you could, in way your introduction, describe what you do professionally, and then very briefly, what you do first thing, what's the first affirming thing you do in the morning to get you started. And then we're going to delve deeper into what you may do, you know, throughout the day, what you may do weekly, monthly, annually, where you learn some of these affirming principles from, and what drives you to continue the practice of affirming yourself. And then last, just generally, how do you seek by affirming yourself to affirm other brothers and sisters? So with that, man, I want to get started with our elder in the space. I'm not calling him an elder, but our elder in the space, Brother Paul Robinson, who Chicago Catholic leaguer Marty, Hales Franciscan.
Hey, that's why I coached. You know that?
Yeah, that's right. Marty coached at Hales, and Paul hooped at Hales. But trust, you did not coach Paul.
I'm surprised you didn't crack the old man joke on me. See,
well, you know,
you missed the opportunity.
It's coming anytime, brother.
Right.
Come on, Paul.
Hey, you know what, Miles, and I appreciate you all having me on here today, man. You know, one of the things I got a chance to see last night talking about ball is the kid from Simeon that played for the Lakers.
Taylor Horton.
Tyler Horton, yeah, he put in work last night, man. I was so happy to see that, man. One of these days, I've got a couple of friends that we're gonna put together a little pamphlet or a book or something, man, about Bob Hambrick and the contributions that he made. People don't talk about, they talk about Simeon a lot, but they don't talk about Bob because he was kind of a distance kind of person. You know, he didn't do interviews. He only had 2 or 3 people on the bench with him when he was always coaching. But Robert Smith, that's coaching Simeon now, is doing a great job. And there's a whole bunch of people that come from that tree. And so we're gonna make that known sooner or later. Okay. Anyway, just wanted to say that I work in the affordable housing industry space. And over the last 5 to 6 years, I've been really, really blessed because the market has turned in my favor in allowing me to work with housing authorities, rural housing authorities. I don't do too much in major cities because I really don't want to get tied up into the politics. I can go to a rural community, work with 400 or 500 public housing units, get some really good stuff moving. I'm working in LaGrange, Rome, Conyers, Hawkinsville, a town of 5,000. I just closed a deal down there, 86 units. And I get a chance to also now, I would say, organize more or less people that have been marginalized from society. Because I can bring $20 million of money to a deal in terms of rehabbing. Now people listen to me in terms of some of the other things that we can bring to the deal with self-sufficiency programs and things like that. So every day, there's a little saying that I have. I'm probably going to mess it up because I'm not too good with words, but it says, "Forgive them, for they know not what they do, but don't forget them, for they know not who they are." That's one of the things that I say every morning, because trust me, man, even the people that I work with, I think that I'm working on their behalf, can come and throw darts at me. And, to work in a corporate environment when you're getting darts always thrown at you from the people that you're working on that level, because they really see that you're pushing the envelope. They have a hard time saying, I'm not going to take this money while I'm still pushing the envelope, and moving community transformation models out there. So that's one of the things that I say every morning that keeps me going. The practice that I do, and everyone I think knows this about me now in terms of yoga and Tai Chi, I'm combining both of those into a regular program. I do about an hour and a half in the morning, sun salutation, and then I've got some kriyas that I do first thing in the morning. That takes about an hour and a half. And in the afternoon, I go out to a park, Adams Park. So if anybody wants to join me at Adams Park, I got a little space out there that I've been sitting there for about 5 years now. At one time, I had big dreams of having a whole park full of people doing Tai Chi, but I realized that, we've got to take this slowly. So what I've done over the last 5 years is just drill down on myself. So when the time comes right, I will be ready in a bigger way to move the needle. But these practices I also include in terms of housing authority work. So the health and wellness practice that I do for myself is also being passed along to the staff members as well as the residents and some of the housing authorities that I work with. So anyway, Maui, that's basically how I affirm myself. I don't think you can affirm yourself any better way than mastery of self. And if you master self, you master all that's around you. I don't care if it's your significant other, your job, or anything, but it all begins with mastery of self.
Ashe. You said something, Brother Paul, that I need clarification on.
Mm-hmm.
All of these master gurus here don't. You use the term, is it you do your creed?
Yeah, it's called a kriya, and it's really just energy work. The yoga practice starts off with the body, which is very, very, very easy. So if anybody is dealing with any kind of depression, start with the body, exercise. I know that sounds simple and everybody says it, but exercise is the way to go, the first entry portal. Then you start dealing with the mind, sitting still, meditation, 5 minutes a day, Then you start moving toward the more subtle things. So you've gone from the body to the mind, which is still tangible, but then you go to the energies, which is less tangible. And so in yoga, they call kriya work energy work. And that's when you start moving energy up your body. Like, for example, everyone probably knows about it from Kundalini yoga, but there's some things in Tai Chi in terms of developing the lower dantian and kind of working with energy in your lower body to make it and circulate throughout your body and stuff like this. So anyway, it's really just energy work, Maui.
Okay. Appreciate that clarification and helping take us to this next level. I want to bring in my brother from Let Us Make Man, one of our founders, and his brother is a master teacher and a warrior for the people and has been. And just so proud of how Brother Walt has just continued to evolve himself. And I just want to, tap him in and Walt, talk a little bit about what you do and what you do to affirm and center yourself every day. And the first thing you do.
Well, first of all, let me say Molly and Marty, Jared, all the guys who are just doing this great work with the Black Man Lab. I'm honored to be here always, because the one thing that we know in Let Us Make Man, you're not here because we like it. You're here because you do the work. You know what I mean? So I just want to say thank you to all the brothers who find it not robbery to be on the panel tonight, and for the work that you continue to do and will do later on in the future. So what do I do first? Molly, I started my own program, and it's called WOW, W-O-W. So the first thing is, I haven't gotten to the jogging part in the Tai Chi, but I'm walking, just like the brother said, I'm walking, you know what I'm saying? So I wake up, and before I get to WOW, I'm sorry, let me back up a little bit. I do my early, it's like your early bird special. You're getting up earlier than you used to, because, you're laying in that bed, man, and waste an hour thinking about why you shouldn't get up an hour early. So I decided just to start hitting the floor like an hour early. So that's my early bird special, so to speak. Once I get up, I'm working on something that Brother Robinson just talked about. And it's the hardest thing in the world, Brother Robinson, like meditating. And, I used to just do gratitude, but then I started to try to meditate. Somebody told me, they said, brother, you go so hard. And I know, Miley, I watch you go hard because I always say this all the time. They said, brother, does your mind ever slow down? And I said, I don't know. So they told me, just like you said, Brother Robinson, 5 minutes. I'm like, man, yeah, I know I can slow down for 5 minutes. And they said, but I don't want you to think about anything. Just sit still and not think. I'm like, how do you not think about anything? So I tried it, man. And I promise you, it was like the toughest 5 minutes of my life. I mean, including working out and everything. It is challenging. So once I do that, then now I get to my gratitude. Like, what am I grateful for? I'm grateful to have people like you guys on the call, even though some of you I'm just meeting for the first time. I feel like in that lineage that Jared always talks about in his libation, we know each other. I don't have to know you personally. If I know Marty and Miley and Jared, I know you, so I get that gratitude in. I'm grateful for, being on top of soil, and soil is not on top of me. I'm grateful to have the ability to speak to people in a way that I can take the most complicated subject and make it seem as if it's something that you would teach in a pre-K program, and people would say, hold on, it didn't even feel like we were learning anything. I know, because nobody has taught you how to focus on metacognition, which is thinking about how you think. They teach you to solve problems, but you can't get to the point of solving a problem until you think about how you think when you're solving a problem. And then we get into WOW. So the WOW is simply walk, and then I organize. And I'm learning day by day that the more organized you are in your life, the more smooth your day seems to flow. And that could be organizing anything. It could be organizing my closet, organizing my drawers, organizing the young people I want to put in this entrepreneurial mindset that I'm working on right now, as well as organizing these ads and stuff I'm getting ready to start running in order to be a millionaire within the next year. And lastly, after I walk, I organize, and then I write. I'm in the habit of writing something every day. So I'm not writing for a dissertation or anything like that yet, but that is slowly starting to creep back into my mind. I've never really cared about external degrees, but I understand now there are some doors that I want to get behind. Not that I need to be behind, but I want to get behind because I understand the warriors I'm trying to save. Sometimes there are gatekeepers who won't allow me to get into those, you know how they say with fighting behind enemy lines, sometimes I can't get behind enemy lines if I don't have certain keys. And lastly, once all of those things right there are done, Molly, I just simply thank the Most High, man, for just giving me the capacity to do what I do to serve the community, because I just aspire to be the greatest servant leader. And I want on my tombstone simply to be placed, he died serving the people. So quickly, I'm looking at my clock. I try to do that as fast as I could. But once again, thank you guys for giving me the opportunity just to share a little bit about my daily rituals.
Thank you, my brother. And if you could, just where are you teaching right now? Because I just want people to kind of, or what system are you teaching in? I want people to understand.
Okay, so right now I'm teaching in probably the blackest system in Atlanta. I'm teaching in Atlanta Public Schools, and I teach at the South Atlanta High School off of Jonesboro Road and Cleveland Avenue. So if you know anything about the South Side, we're probably the poorest district in the whole city. We got probably the most crime, the most cases of AIDS. So, you know, when you tie that in with COVID and some of the other stuff, people have no idea. So if I told you, like right now, Molly, in my class, my ethnic study class, they are writing 15-page research papers. And they had the capacity to do so because I have a mantra that says you can't high jump if the bar is set too low. You already knew where I was going, Molly. So
I know where you was going.
yeah, man.
I know where you was going, bro. I knew.
Molly, you'll be surprised, Molly. Someone in a very prominent position at the school actually asked me, "Do you really think they need to write 15 pages just to show you what they know?" And I'm saying, "Wow, you're in a position where you determine their future, and you ask me something like that, and we stop talking." I mean, literally, you know me, Molly. I don't have a gray area. You know, either I mess with you all the way or I don't mess with you at all. So I come back to that, you know, later on once you guys throw it out there for us to affirm ourselves more.
Appreciate you, bro. Thank you, Walt. What's up, young brother? You didn't win to change clothes. He didn't came out the dark, got all freshened up. He got Minister Malcolm and Brother Muhammad Ali over his right shoulder representing. Come on in and introduce yourself. Tell them what you do, where you went to school. You know, give some backdrop, and then tie in what you're doing on a daily basis. And it's good to see you as always.
Peace, man. I appreciate that. Great to see you, brothers, as well, man. If you don't know me, my name is Sabri. I work closely with Next Level Boys Academy. We have an initiative called Next Level Success Academy. But on the other side of things, I actually started a business with a few of my friends called Black Market Investment Group. And we have 3 different streams of business. One is marketing. We do top to bottom. It's like a group of us who can do anything as far as production, direct, produce, edit, model, whatever you need. And then working on things in property acquisition, top to bottom commercial, as well as family units. So, and then we actually just started logistics over the summer. So we're learning how to scale that up and then just trying to broaden that aspect. But as far as my daily routine, I would say the best thing I do in the morning is probably just burn some Palo Santo by my altar and just.
Tell them how old you are, brother. You just
What'd you say, Mark?
Tell them how old you are. You can't just, you know.
Oh, you know, man.
You lay all of that down, right? And so, you know, you got to give them some context, man, because they got to see as young brothers getting it done. You look young, but tell them how old you are.
Oh yeah, I ain't as young as I look, man. I'm 27, but I went to Valdosta State, like Molly said, my alpha.
He's 27, man. And
man. We're just doing what we feel like is necessary. We following y'all path.
Hey, 27, brother. Every brother on here.
Appreciate y'all.
Every brother on here wish we could return to that 27. So you are young, and brother, we appreciate you. And I just wanted, you know, that to get undergirded, man.
Hey, Molly, at 27, we had it all together, didn't we?
I wasn't thinking about no companies at 27, bro. You talking about we got 3 strength, you know. I'm like, oh, okay, go ahead. But go ahead, Sabrina. Go ahead, man. I'm just show your respect.
Appreciate that, man, always. But in the morning, just kind of burn some Palo Santo and just breathe, man. Like what we did, man, that was powerful. I was in my car, but I definitely just wanted to I couldn't close my eyes, but I just wanted to breathe with y'all because it's so important. And I didn't know it. Like I'm not someone who was raised in a conscious family or anything like that. So I would say that, as well as just allowing myself and the people around me grace. That's one thing I kind of felt like we were so hard on each other and hard on ourselves growing up. It's like, man, I allow myself to make mistakes. And I feel like with this new path, it ain't something that anybody in my family could walk me through. Like it's corridors of manhood. I read this book called Asafo. That's real good. And it just talks about corridors of manhood that you got to be walked through. And I understood that, you know, my father was in my life, but we had a conversation where I was like, man, I didn't even realize, like, he didn't have a father. I was like, man, we was both learning stuff at the same time. So I couldn't really fault him. I started to allow him more grace when I was younger because we used to have a lot of issues growing up. So grace is big for me, man. Just kind of allowing yourself to grow. And like you said, that affirming yourself, you're going to have those progressions and them transgressions. And you got to learn to kind of be at peace with both of them. So breathing and grace, man. Those number two and number 1 right there. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you, bro.
Man, I love that, man. Allowing for grace is not just for those people, but for you. You know, when you allow grace, you find grace finds you. You know? So that's good stuff for you. For you to have that at 27, brother, man. I wish I had it. You know, because we as black men walk around carrying a lot of anger for a lot of time. So that's beautiful that you got that. Yeah, that's
Yes,
beautiful.
sir. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So, question for you guys. You know, as we talk about affirming ourselves, give us some feedback on why you think. Because I want those that are listening, our young folks that are out there, or even our old folks that might not have a recognition of affirming themselves. Why it's so important for us as black men to affirm yourself. Um, can you delve into that a little bit, Paul?
Thanks, Marty, and it's Reed, man. That was really, really powerful, man. Grace is something that we often, don't recognize, man. But when you think about grace, you think about the sun, man, actually giving us all the energy we need to exist and stuff, man. And that's a big practice in yoga. But anyway, in terms of Marty, I'm sorry, what was you asking?
So just let's talk about the importance of being able to affirm yourself. What does that do?
Let me do this, man. I'm gonna put it in basketball terms. When I was training basketball players, man, a basketball player, one of the things that a coach looks at is, can they create space to get their shot off?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I look at everything like that now. How do I create space so I can do the work that I need to do? Do I need to make this area over here a little bit bigger, the umbrella? I might not get credit for it, but I may need to push the envelope so that the umbrella can get bigger, because if the umbrella gets bigger, then I can create space to do what I need to do.
Mm-hmm.
So by affirming yourself, you're literally creating space for you to exist in this forget this country, this world. It's all kind of things that's going to be shot at us in all kind of ways. So you've got, by affirming yourself, you creating the basis, the foundation, so that you can create space to get your shot off. All right. So I try to use a basketball analogy in terms of life.
Well, that hits on obviously for both Molly and I, given our basketball backgrounds. But
that's right.
I'm gonna give you credit for it the first time. After that, I'm claiming it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
we
give
might
you
have to
credit
steal
that first time, boy, because that create space to get yours. Bruh.
Yeah. And that's what, and you know what, Marty, that's why I'm so big on this mastery of self, man. I've been running around here, man. I thought my will could do everything, man. I got beat up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I got literally to the ground and stuff and had to kind of recreate myself. And once I started mastering myself, all of a sudden I could dance with anybody now. I don't care what you on. And that's the other thing that Tai Chi is showing me. It's a martial arts, but at the same time, if something is thrown at you, you don't want to hit it directly head on. You know what I'm saying? You want to deflect that so that energy goes behind you or past you, and then you are able to address it and stuff. So there's so many analogies in terms of mastering yourself, man, that makes sense in the world that we deal in, man. And we're faced with a lot, man. And I just want to say, man, this pandemic is the best time to go in. Okay, so if anybody's interested in going in more, man, there's a whole bunch of stuff I can recommend. And Maui, I probably need to send you a list of things, because I do these presentations for housing authorities. And so I would love to, give you all a list too. And it's just tidbits on there where you can look at YouTube videos and things like that.
Yeah, please send it to us.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Send it to us for sure. Brother Kine, what about you, man? Talk about the importance of being able to affirm yourself and where you find that to be integral in being able to move forward as a Black man. You're on mute, bro.
Anyone who's ever heard me speak to the general public or seen me do a training, you guys know I'm always going to talk from a book, because I think a part of affirming myself is making sure that people know, regardless of your socioeconomic class or regardless of your financial status, your academic degrees, and so on and so forth. I contend that there are not too many people who have read as much as me. That's why I was literally just somebody's calling who's listening to the show right now, and they just said, "Bro, I'm with you on that." And I was telling them that one of the things I do is I always bring books. So as a man thinketh, so is he. You know what I mean? So this is James Allen. This is one. It's a very, very small book, but man, there's so many nuggets in this book right here that you can read this book tonight while you're sitting there wasting time on social media. And another one that I want to introduce before I just wrap this up is Dr. King, Why We Can't Wait. Why We Can't Wait. See, there are a lot of books, man, that I have over here on Dr. King that people never even mention. This brother was saying, like, right now, I agree with Brother Paul again, man. We can't wait. You can't wait to start doing Tai Chi. I'm asking right now for an open invite to come out and learn Tai Chi, because I need to be able to relax and deal with some of the issues that I'm fighting right now with my son, with his university, Clayton State University. And it is taking every drop of energy out of me to sit here and watch someone accuse my son of academic misconduct because of him being connected to a group me, not because of his involvement in it, just being connected. So it has drained me. But I said, based on something I learned from a dear friend and frat brother, Masonic brother, Dr. Gary White, he told me this summer as I'm trying to affirm myself, he said, Walt, you have done what most Black men have been socialized to do very well. He said, we've been socialized to do this. And he said, this speaks to you. He said, you have mastered the art of doing and you have neglected the art of being. So now what I'm doing in my space is I'm no longer that brother running out to every event trying to save every brother. I'm still out here fighting on the battlefield, but instead of me doing those things and thinking that's what my children needed to say, I'm just being a great father, even if it means me losing my job because of something I post, if it means me losing my job because I'm going to be there for my children, regardless of what any employer says. That's just who I am and in the space that I'm in. And lastly, I would say one of the things I live by, and I actually saw a brother in this on Walmart. He said that this shirt was made by a brother from Chicago. This brother stopped me in the store. He said the brother who made this shirt is from Chicago. It said, men cry, we care. We, I think it said read, love, think, build, laugh, and then the last word on here is forgive. So when I was thinking about the young brother talking about grace or whatnot, oh man, it just makes me think about, man, how many years did I waste, man, wasting time instead of just saying, look, this grace is not even for you, brother. I forgive you. Now, it doesn't mean I forgot about, the wrong that you put on me, but I definitely know that it was more baggage on me carrying it around, not forgiving. So I would just challenge anyone at the sound of my voice right here to know this right here, a part of this affirmation for me. And I've never shared it. Well, I've shared it once with Brother Patrick Muhammad when I went out to actually his horse farm. And I told him what I affirm now is that on my son's birthday, with everything we're fighting through, man, it's going to be like a trifecta. My son's birthday is January the 5th, first and foremost. Secondly, on January the 5th, hopefully we will have a verdict from his appeal, which we are drafting right now. And lastly, on my son's birthday, it will be 2 years of sobriety without me having anything to drink, man. I just want to put that in the universe. So I don't need anybody holding me accountable, because only I can hold me accountable. You know what I'm saying? You can hold bags, you can hold court, you can hold whatever, but you can't hold me accountable. Only I can hold myself accountable. So I chose that day to affirm my new walk in life on my son's birthday, because it would give me the fortitude and it would give me what I needed to say, okay, man, one more day. On January 5th, it'll be 2 years. And the next day I start working on year 3. So thank you guys once again, man, for just listening in. And I mean, my skin is so clear now, y'all. My eyes are clear. My mind is clear. And it's like, boy, if you think you want to fight with the big homie and walking with Walt right now, the realest motivator and eternal educator, man, you better bring an army with you, because I have affirmed my Blackness. I have affirmed my manhood, and I have affirmed that I'm going to be there for my children before I run out and just master doing again like we've been socialized to do.
Man, brother. First of all,
Yes, sir.
that. But second of all,
you know that. Nothing but love.
Yeah, nothing but love. And that affirmation there of yourself is not only good for you, it's good for all those that love you and all those that don't even know you, right? Because that work that you're putting out now, that energy that you put out now, it's number one, it's contagious. Number two, you finding your lane. You're finding where you're supposed to be, and that work you do is that much more important, man. So that's inspiring, brother Walk. Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. And we're gonna delve more. Don't think that's it. You're not done. So, brother Sabri, how about you, man? How about you? What do you think is the importance of being able to affirm your?
Man, that's powerful, man. Brother Walker, that's love, man. Respect to everything that you just said, man. I appreciate it. That's tough to follow. But what I will say is, you gotta, as men, I feel like you gotta be able to prove certain things to yourself. You know, man, know thyself. If I can't do it without having to prove it to someone else, I feel like affirming yourself it's a lot of power in it. Like you reassure yourself, you give yourself that confirmation of certain things, because depending on what your path is, it might not be something that your family has seen or your friends has seen or your woman has seen or anything like that, and they may not be 100% sold on it. So you got to understand how to walk in your own path and kind of have that tunnel vision at times to just be like, okay, I know that this is for me. I know this is who I am. So I'm gonna continue to walk. Like the brother said, like you got to set some goals for yourself that are deeply rooted in whatever it is that you're reaffirming as far as self. And you got to just go for that, man. You can't really worry about all the outside, the family, the friends, the lifestyle that you may be coming from, especially just with younger brothers like myself and younger. Like it's hard to do certain things like that with all of these different entities like social media and friendship and college and fraternity and women. Like it's like, damn, like when you get to a space where you're like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not drinking and partying and blah, blah, blah anymore. It's hard because everyone around you is you was attracting that at the time. So now you're no longer attracting it. So when you're reaffirming it, it's like you got to reaffirm at every point. When you go to work, your friends at work, you attracted them because of your certain lifestyle or your certain beliefs. So now you're changing all those things. And even if you're just making yourself better, it's going to be new obstacles, it's going to be new things. So just being fully dependent on self for that is probably the biggest thing for me. And I feel like that can make a world of difference for your mindset.
Absolutely. Absolutely. At the end of the day, I think that self-affirmation piece is, in short, you defining you and not letting the outside world define who you are, right? And that's you being your best you is going to be just great for all those around you at the end of the day, and that you live in your purpose. Holly?
Man, I want us to do what we do for our target audience. Our target audience is a excuse me, a 13-year-old, 14-year-old, 15, 16, 17, 18, young 20s. Let's break it down. Y'all are on certain levels mastering things. You're at a level. Now I know you didn't start at that level. I've Walk and I have walked together. So I've watched this brother evolve into this giant of a man, and he was strong when we first met. And I won't go into the whole backdrop, but he was strong then, like Thomaston, Georgia, strong, with intellect. So there's a path, there's a walk. If you all could go to that 13, 14-year-old, give them that simple thing. Do this every day. Like if you could speak to your 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old, hell, 20-year-old self, what would be the one thing you say, all right, I want to do this. I would like to have started doing this one thing all the way back then. And I know that it would be transformative for me and helpful for me to have embraced it earlier on in my journey. Brother Paul, can you tap in and share, give it, go to these young brothers and say, here it is. Here's one thing. I ain't gonna give you 30. I ain't even gonna give you 10. I'm gonna give you one to eat off of. And if you do that successfully for a period of time, then you can go to step two, or however you all see it. I don't want to be linear, because I know that it doesn't just move like but just I want to give you the space to do that.
Hey, Maui, thank you again, man. You know, I'm going to give you something that I think is extremely important, not just if you're young. And you know, like what they say is what's good for the youth is also good for older people also. What I'm going to give you, and I heard Walt talk about it in terms of how hard it is, but just sitting still for 5 minutes a day, make that a routine in your morning practice, that you get up, you sit completely still. Don't worry about the mind initially, trying to get that to calm down. That's going to take some years to get to that. But if you can get your body to sit completely still for 5 minutes, you're going to get thoughts that come through your head. Just let those thoughts continue to go on. Don't grab onto them. But just that routine there, that's one of the things that I wish I had started when I was 10, 11 years old. If I had done that now, sitting still for an hour, for 2 hours, for 3 hours, and people don't realize that when the mind is always working, it gets worn down just like what the body. That's why when you sleep, it's so much advantageous for you when you get up because you've rested your body and your mind. Some people can't sleep well because their mind is continuing to go. If you can get your mind to rest while you're still conscious, you double down on the sleeping. So you're conscious and you've let your mind rest. That's the art of meditation and becoming more mindfulness. And so I think there's a whole lot of things that can lead from that 5 minutes. But Maui, I got to give one other thing to the young brothers out there, man. And this is this: all in. I don't care what you're doing. Just be all in on it. I know that's going to sound crazy, but if you're all in on it, two things are going to happen. One, you're going to learn about what you're into. And the second thing, you're going to learn about yourself. If you only in there for 50%, 25%, you're going to get 25% back. You're going to get 25% of yourself. Be all in. That's why when you're talking about not linear, one of the things that I can talk about is in my career, I don't have a linear career. I've done everything, but I've done everything all in. And everything that I was all in has come to help me now at 61 years old apply. So whether it was accounting, basketball, whether it was the Black nationalist movement, whether it was the entertainment situation, whatever I was in, it was all in. Okay, so I would advise the young people to be all in, and you'll learn things about yourself as well as what you're doing. And that's the only way you can begin to master something outside of yourself, by being all in. So just those are the two things that I would say.
I appreciate that. And I just got to say, one of the challenges, I think, to be all in, it's hard to be all in and doing this. It's hard to.
Yes.
I don't care. It's just hard to be all in and somebody's giving you life-changing, transforming information and you doing this.
Yeah.
You're doing this. You got an opportunity to go to school, and more than 2/3 of the population of Black children on planet Earth don't get the opportunity to go to school after the 8th grade. And here you are with this opportunity. And you doing this. I'm off it. Come on, Walt.
All in, as someone who's transforming and affirming, Brother Paul, I'm just gonna always catch the alley hoop using your basketball analogies tonight, brother. It's like you just threw that thing up and I got 2 hands and I'm about to dunk it. My uncle used to say, if you're gonna be a fool, be the best fool you can be. If you're gonna be a businessman, be the best businessman. But whatever you do, even if it's something foolish, make sure if you're going to jail, you were all in when you were doing it. You understand what I'm saying? So Molly, y'all might have seen me hit my camera. So if you ever see me stop my camera, Molly, I'm not stopping because I'm not engaged. I'm stopping because I'm in my war chest finding another book, The One Thing. So this is what we're talking about, brother. One thing that we're focusing on right now. And I think the one thing that comes to mind to me is this enemy called average. There's an enemy out here called average, Molly. So when you talk about being on that phone, you got a $1,200 phone, but you got a $5 education. You know what I mean? So, Jawanza Kunjufu, one of my mentors, I had a chance to meet this brother personally, has a book called Black Students, Middle Class Teachers. So one of the things that I think I wish I could have benefited from, Molly, now I'm actually into my one thing. Molly, check this out, man. I got shirts. I'm always educated, even when I'm not teaching in the classroom. This shirt right here, in case you see it, it says I'm mixed with hood. Then, you come on down here, Molly, it says I'm mixed with hood, woke, loner, and revolutionary. So you could be all of those things mixed up in one. So my one thing is that, Molly, I wish that I was not so hood growing up. I mean, I was a Thundercat, bro. I'm in them streets. That's what I tell folks. Don't be fooled because you're from Chicago or Detroit and think that in these sticks, man, there ain't folks out there who will make you disappear. And it won't even make the news until Wednesday's newspaper come out. So I was all the way hood. I was all in. You know what I'm saying, bro? Paul? I was all in, bro. Savory, I'll tell you this right here, brother. I tell my students at South Atlanta because, you know, I'm over there rocking with the Bloods on Cleveland. I'm over there, well, I'm sorry, Bloods on Cleveland. And I'm rocking with, you know, like those neighborhood Crips out there in Fourth Season. And I had to let them know, bro, I was hood before it was all good. So don't think that the turnoff switch, you know, I cannot turn that switch back on if need be. Because what I will not do in the midst of me giving my right and my left arm to both of you, if I'm talking to two or all of you, if I'm talking to a crowd, I would not ever let anybody take my left and right arm. So what does that boil down to, Molly? That one thing, if I wasn't sitting here on the panel, that I was a 14-year-old listening right now, and I hope you guys are listening with your attentive ears and not just saying, yeah, I heard you. No, your attentive ears means you are listening actively. That means right now you're hearing something and saying, hold on, that brother right there who they say is a master educator, he used to be hood. No, I'm still hood. I just keep the disguise on. You know, I don't wear the hood anymore. I used to wear that hood. You knew I was all in, bro, Paul. I was all in. You knew I was hood. And if you like the kids say, if you capping, I'm ready, man, to cash in all checks. So now, you know, the checks will get cashed, but it's going to be on the loan end. It's going to be on the chessboard, Molly. So conception would be that one word that I would say, conceive. I wish I could have conceived that I was something other than a hill boy. You know, we would throw this up, man, the HBs, and we would talk about our apartment building. This is what conception is. We were so dedicated to the hood that Negroes shouted out their building. I still shout it out on my social media. I'm building M4. And I let everybody know building M, you know, third speed bump when you come into the hood. So I couldn't conceive that I would be sitting next to a Miley Davis and a Derek Bozeman and a Fred Parham who just snuck in here late. And in my fraternity, Molly, they always say to be early is to be on time. To be on time is to be late. And to be late is unacceptable, but I will give him a pass tonight because he's my cable toe in the lodge. But conceiving the fact that I could be working alongside Fred Parham, developing a program right now with, you know, well, I won't say with who, but we're doing some real serious work. And for all those people, Molly, who cannot get these 13-year-olds to conceive that they could actually be a millionaire, that's my goal for the rest of my life. To get them, like bro said, it starts with one simple step. If I can get my body to relax, I can get those young men and women's bodies to relax. If I can get them to conceive it, the last thing, bro, Paul, I'm gonna steal one out your book. I had to slide this in, Molly, and I won't even belabor the point, but if you can get them to conceive, then the next baby step is to get them to believe. And once they believe, Molly, everything that I've been telling students for the last 20 some odd years, once they believe that, brother, you are a genius. You are not just a genius, you are a black genius. And I make sure they understand you are a black genius. You are from the doggone, you are from Imhotep, the master and father of math and science. When you look at an ambulance in the hood, since we are all in on the hood, when you see that ambulance roll up in the hood and you see that little snake going around the stick, bro, all of that is from the emergency room that Imhotep started. So I'm all in. I've conceived it. I know now that I can be on the stage with Eric Thomas, Les Brown, Keith Brown, any speaker out there, any trainer out there, because I've conceived it. And now, Molly, more so than anything else, I believe it. And I hope I can transfer that to every 13-year-old, 14-year-old, 20-year-old. It's all about those two things, man. Conceive it and believe it. Thank you, brothers.
And he dropped the mic. Just boom. Let it go, bro. Let it go. Let it go. Sabrine, come on, man. One thing, you are 27, so you're not that far, man. You're not that far from your 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old self. Even your, you know, when you started at Valdosta State self, like when you knowing what you know right now with your guys that you done clicked up with to build business with, what's that one thing in terms of affirming, conceptualizing that you say, hey, do this, and you're gonna catch me. And let me say this one thing before you answer. It was real deep. One of my mentors, and we don't use mentor like that. We talk about jegnas. That's in our African tradition. When I came into the movement, his name was Edward Robinson. He wrote a book called The Journey of the Songhai People. And I caught fire at 22 and just started studying. And when I say going, like Paul said, going all in, I was at every lecture, So if you were coming to Philly and you were an African intellectual, Ivan Van Sertima, Kwame Ture, John Henry Clark, you name them, I was there every conference. If a book came out, if they had when the cassette tapes, I'm popping Amos Wilson, Asa Hilliard. You feel me, right? Now I'm aging myself a little bit, but I went through this intense transformation, went through rites of passage for adults, and that's when I knew that it was time to ask my mother to give me an African name. Y'all hear me? I didn't give this name to me. I asked my mother to give me an African name because I believed that I had studied and showed that I was ready to reclaim my African identity. And at that ceremony, and my wife, who was at the time my fiance Jana was there, you know, Dr. Robinson, he was 78 at the time, as graceful as can be, Juris Doctorate, brilliant man, written books, beautiful baritone voice. And I said to him, he says to me, I'm so proud of you. You know, this is how he used to, I'm so proud of you to see you come along the way you have. And, you know, I'm really proud of you, brother. And I was just like, again, being young and not thinking, I said, I'm just trying to catch up with you. And he looked, son, you already caught up because you standing on my shoulders. You can't catch up with me. You on my back. What are you talking about? I brought you here. And so I just want us to think about the fact that we are all standing on other brothers' shoulders and other sisters' shoulders as we do this, that this is not of our own making. These are the energies of the universe, of the ancestors, and of those that are in our space right now. And so, Brother Sabri, I just want you as a young brother, man, to just reach to your 20-year-old, starting as a freshman at Valdosta State University, before you pledged, before you did anything. What's that one thing that you say, hey, I got to do this, and I know that I'll be better for it?
Man, I appreciate y'all for all this powerful insight y'all giving me on the call. But I would say just showing gratitude thing when I get kind of down on things how they are. I always be like, man, write some stuff down that I'm thankful for. That, like you said, no matter where we at, no matter whose shoulders we standing on, we got to understand as Black people that we probably 1 or 2 generations away from poverty, and then 3 or 4 from slavery. So I always try and say, okay, you know, don't forget where I came from. Like we talking about, like being able to, that helped me sharpen my sword. Like when I think about how far, not just myself, but like you said, the people before me come, I always say, man, don't get down on yourself. Keep sharpening your sword, man, because the sharper that sword get, man, the better you are. It benefit everybody, no matter where you at. Like if you're just doing random stuff, like it was a time where when I was younger in that 19, 18 phase where I was interested in everything. And now it's come full circle because now people be like, oh, how can you work with this space? How can you work in that space? I'm like, man, when I was 17, when I was 18, I was just learning. But like y'all saying, I was committed. I was committed to what I was learning. Even if like I can go talk to some of my mentors that I didn't even realize was mentors. Like, what was the term that you used?
Jegna. Jegna, J-E-G-N-A,
I like that.
Jegna. That's the master teacher.
Jegna.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. I appreciate that. But just going and talking to them and just learning, you know what I'm saying? Learning that I was learning from them, learning that, like you said, they were proud of what I was doing, regardless if I thought I was just running in circles. They was like, man, you're pushing this, you know, keep pushing yourself. So that's the one thing I can say. Wake up, sharpen your sword, and be grateful that you got an opportunity to do that, because a lot of us don't. A lot of us don't even realize that. So that's my thing, man.
Appreciate you, brother. I'm going to turn it back to you, Brother Marty, man.
Fellas, I got to get out of here, brothers, man. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Thank you for having me. I got to hop on another call, man.
We love you too.
Appreciate having you.
Love you too.
Thank you and love you.
I'm about to shoot
Could you put your contact information in the chat box?
Yeah, drop your contact.
I got you.
Oh.
Thank you, sir.
I'm about to shoot you something too, Sabrina.
Appreciate y'all.
All right,
Okay,
be
good.
good,
Appreciate
Sabri.
you, man.
All right, man. In on that same note with what Brother Sabri was talking about, when you think about your young self or the young folks that are out there right now, if they only knew, right? That's the thing that gets me. I think that as we have our journey, as some of us middle age, I guess we could use that term. Um, as we have that journey through our lives, and we come to realize um, our self and where self comes from, those are the shoulders that we stand on, and then historically where we come from. Like Brother Kine, what you were talking about, and when we talk about in Hotep, and we talk about the history of our people and the greatness of our people, it makes it so much easier for you to have a level of realization about the greatness that lies within yourself, right? You say then you start saying, well, wait, that's me. Right? But the challenge is that our young folks out there don't have enough opportunity to see them, right? And that's what Black Man Lab's about. That's what so many other organizations are about, is trying to put that out there so that they have the realization that they are great. So let's talk about what actually before that, I want to bring my brother Fred Parham in. You gave him a hard time, Brother Walk, but Brother Parham has been going hard with us on the Black Man Lab. He's one of our board members, and he's been on this forum almost every week and is always readily available. I know you had some stuff going today, Fred, so I excuse you for being a little bit tardy. I'm glad you're here. I'm just glad you're here. So step in and give folks a quick note about yourself and about your journey as it relates to being conscious of self.
Yeah, bro. I appreciate you to giving me that pass, man. You know, my CT, and Miley Davis over there leaning in on the brother as they should. But I was at the robotics center with the kids, making sure they get off to a great start, stimulating their minds and technology. But real quick, man, Miley probably described, my rising into the light. Similar was when I met a brilliant scholar, activist, soldier, president, Dr. Imari Obadele, Republic of New Africa, in undergrad at Prairie View A&M University, who set me on a course that I have yet to slow down or deviate from. This probably 30 years ago now, and that's an awareness of the condition of Black folk being separate from who we are, right? He drew a line and said, these are our circumstances, but this is who you are. And it went before slavery. And bro, that's what woke me up, Miley. You talking about, wait a minute, my personhood didn't start with slavery. There was an African before who I can ground myself in. Ghana, Mali, Songhai, Zimbabwe, man. So yeah, for me, the affirmation of Black manhood, certainly in the example of my father, grandfather, and great grandfathers in my life, and the educators who were men in my high school. And let me say about King Walker, some Black men don't get to see a Black male teacher walk until they see you.
Mm.
And that's important. And if it wasn't, these colleges and universities wouldn't be laying out the red carpet trying to get Black men to be educators. And so the Black men who were educators in my life really seeded some of that academic excellence that Black men could embody and look at, and I just remember along the way having that armor just kind of put on me in various stations in life that empowered me to reach this moment at the Black Man Lab and be a part of this august body of men. And I'm gonna shut up and turn it back over to the experts on the call. But thank you for inviting me in the conversation, Marty.
Yeah, man. Look, anytime, Brother Parham, we love having you on here. We love having your voice. So
I see you, Miley.
Hey, I had to bring out this Queen Sister book out, bruh. This sister here, Ikichi Taifu. You know, Mama Sister Ikichi, and I had to bring out that picture right there of Baba Imari Obadele and the great Honorable Chokwe Lumumba.
Yes,
I
sir.
say, I had to bust it out, Walk. So I got some books back here too, Walk. You hear me? All right, boy.
Molly,
Y'all
you
got the
already
vault
got your
open
books
tonight.
down. You got your books down in Savannah?
Oh, yes, sir.
Gotcha.
You know, have book will travel. You know,
Yes,
we're gonna
sir.
take it with us.
Right. Man, look, brothers, we are pushing the clock. Normally right around now we ask about what are your habits, rituals, and disciplines that you do every day to move forward. I know some of the stuff we've touched on already, and as we talk about being self-affirming, but you guys delve a little bit into your habits, rituals, and disciplines that you do. Molly, you got something?
Can I ask a question of him, Marty, to go with
Yeah.
what you're
Go.
saying? We normally do habits, rituals, and disciplines, and we normally talk about how you start your day. One of my challenges personally, how do you end your day? How do you close it? How can a young person end it, right? Where they are in a better position for the next day. So still habits, rituals, and disciplines, but just the tail end of it. Is that cool, Marty?
Real quick, I get a little concerned when sometimes you jump into my head and finish thoughts. Because that's actually, I literally was about to say, normally we start, but that's okay. That's okay. We got a long history together, so it's cool. But there you go. You got the question. So Paul, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I think I've talked to you all about kind of my rituals and habits. And again, man, because I'm all in, I'm probably going overboard, but it's a good way for me to learn myself. But I do the yoga and the Tai Chi, and that's every day now since the pandemic. I will not miss a day on that. And so that's the other thing. But how I end my day is pretty interesting. One of the things that I begin to realize is that, you feed yourself with so much stuff. You feed yourself with food. And of course, if the food that you're eating is clean and good and stuff like that and healthy, you're going to be good on the inside. But also your thoughts are getting fed by a lot of different ways. TV feeds you, the telephone feeds you and stuff like that. So one of the things that I do now is I make sure I get a YouTube video that is extremely enlightening in some kind of form or fashion. And there's so many of them out there. Mm-hmm. And me and my queen, we just lay there and we listen to that as we go to sleep. Now, I can tell you, I don't hear it all, but every once in a while, I'll go to sleep, but every once in a while, I'll get some incredible thought from what I had listened to that connects to everything that I'm doing in my business world. And so I just find that to be amazing. But just remember that you feed yourself all the time and try to feed yourself with something good as much as possible, and especially at the nighttime, because the nighttime is when your body is being rejuvenated, physically and mentally and energetically and spiritually. So it's a good thing to try to end your day with some kind of positive thought that's going through your head. I tell you, the other thing is that there's a meditation called the 61-point meditation for those that find it hard to sit still. It's a great sleeping meditation. You'll go through 61 points on your body. And the first couple of times, you're probably only going to get to about 7 or 8, and then you're going to be knocked out. But if you could do it for 3 times in a row without any kind of like guidance or anything, that's at a high level of meditation. So that's another thing that I experiment with in the night. And let me just say one other thing. People laugh at me at this all the time, but I experiment with a lot of different things. So one of the things that I thought really helped me at one point in my life is staring at a candle. I know that's going to sound ridiculous, but single point focus meditation is a powerful meditation, and it's a way to wind yourself down at night. Okay. And of course, try not to eat too late at night because your stomach is moving a lot. And so the blood is going to your stomach, whereas it needs to actually be in other places at that time at night. So those are the things that I would say in terms of just winding yourself down at night. Try to make it as peaceful as possible.
Super, super quick. Your top 3 YouTubers that you might either wake up to or go to sleep, because who you listening to?
Yeah. I wish I could send you all this. This is one thing called the Tao of Every Day. And the Tao of Every Day. And Maui, somehow I got to send this to you. It goes against everything that I grew up with. No, you're supposed to fight every minute of your day. You know what I'm saying? But what it's telling you to do is it's a whole way of leadership. It's a leadership tape that every time I'm getting in trouble with, you know, anybody I'm working with, I start listening to that, and that grounds me. Alan Watts is way out there. Okay. But Alan Watts is somebody that brought, you know, Buddhism and yoga and stuff like that to the United States in the 1950s. And he had a television program. And then for the yoga side of thing, I'm listening to a gentleman called Sadhguru, Sadhguru. He's the one that has initiated me in 4 or 5 Kriyas right now. But his wisdom and stuff in terms of how to make this stuff practical, I think is the best things that I've seen. So those are the 4 or 5 people that I listen to. And Maui, I'll send you some of this stuff so that you can disseminate to the group.
Yes, please, because I was going to ask. Well, one statement in that I found that listening, doing the same thing, finding something on YouTube that I have a buddy who's in the panel next to me here who sends me stuff every day. But I typically at the end of the night try to put it in my earphone and put it in my ear and listen to it. And like you, will fall asleep to it. Or there's some other things that I like to listen to, books and such, that I fall asleep to. But I find that there'll be gems in those things that in my subconscious mind stick with me. And you wake up with them, even though you may have thought that you fell asleep through it. Somewhere in there, it sticks in there. So that's great. The other thing is that 61-point meditation. Is that available online somewhere?
Yes, it's everywhere. It's called Yoga Nidra or the 61-point meditation. Okay. And they got all kind of voices. So you find a voice that you like to sit down and try to do it on. But and guess what? You do that meditation laying down. That's why it's a great meditation for sleep.
I can see, to your point, I can see me gets to, probably, in my case, probably 5. I get to 4 or 5. Yeah. Yeah. So thanks. Appreciate that, Brother Paul. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Brother Walt, how about you? How are you winding your day down in terms of your habits, rituals, and discipline? You're on mute, Brother Walt.
First of all, I wish I could just defer my time to Brother Paul because, man, like Brother Bozeman always says, when I'm in a room where someone is more intelligent or has more to offer than me, I just like to empty my cup and just pour it out and let them pour more into me. So I'm just honored, and I can't wait to give this brother a call, man. There you go, Molly. There you go. This way. I can't wait to call him. Yeah. I just can't wait, Molly, to receive more of what this brother is going to pour into me. So as I continue to go to that next level, this is like another one of those jewels that I've been waiting on to have poured into me. So I started off by saying it was hard for me to do 5 minutes of not thinking about anything. And that brother said, start with your body. And brother, please know, I believe in having a sharp pencil because it's better than a long memory. You know what I'm saying? A dull pencil, as well. A dull pencil is better than a long memory. So what I do, just like with everything I've been saying tonight, I always end, like this book right here, one of those powerful books I read, Atomic Habits.
Yeah. Yes.
Right here, this book talks about, you know, one of the habits is making sure that when you leave in the morning, you put the book that you're reading on your pillow. So when you get ready to go to bed at night, that's the last thing you see. So I, right now, would be remiss if I did not represent for one of the sisters like my brother Miley Davis did. You know, he won up me on that. That's a new thing. But this sister right here, man, this is a classic, man. Nikki Giovanni, Racism 101. And in this book right here, as I'm winding down my piece, Nikki starts out by talking about, I must have heard my first stories in my mother's womb. And she says, mother loved a good story and my father told good jokes. But it was her father, grandpapa, who told the heroic tales of long ago. So this is what I would say, man. If you're going to bed at night and you're thinking with that poverty mindset and all your mind is doing is racing, thinking about the next bill you have to pay and the next obstacle you have to overcome, you're losing. You're not going to get a good night's rest. That's what I've done for the last 25 years, thinking about like my student, Jerry Carr, who we just buried the other day, and all the trials they were going through. And I'm like, the other night, I finally decided, I said, I got it now. No, man, just read something positive and you can wake up and fight again tomorrow morning. So that's what I would say is the one thing, for sake of time, just to leave Bro Parham a segue. And lastly, I will say this right here. I bought this app, man. It's like $90 a year called Headway. If you guys can download it, $90 Headway, and it just like gives you all these different books you can listen to. So it doesn't forced me to be at my desk sitting there highlighting and marking and whatnot. In the book that I'm reading, I don't know if it'll come up when I open up my app, but it's one by Gary V. You guys know Gary V, man. And Gary V, this book is entitled, let me see real quick, Molly, with 10 seconds. It does. I can't think of the name of it right now, but that's it, Molly. I take out some of those nuggets from Atomic Habit, and one of my favorite nuggets is leaving my book on my pillow. So when I get ready to retire at night, I read me a chapter or so, because I want everybody to understand this about me. If you have not read 500 books, I tell my students this all the time. If you have not read 500 books, you're not debating me. You're talking, I'm debating. And one of the things that I listen to, and I know this wasn't my question, Molly, but I love the question you posed to Brother Paul about what is he listening to. One of the brothers that I honor right now, his name is Dr. Miles Monroe. And one of the things that I took from Dr. Monroe, and I shared with my students the other day, I wore a suit to the virtual classroom, and they asked me where was I going. I told them I had gone to a funeral, and everybody was in the chat saying, we're sorry for your loss. And I told them, no, I didn't go to a real funeral. I buried the old walk. I said, the walk that I buried is the one that says to you guys now, this is the thing. I am the tree of knowledge, young brothers and sisters. And I know this tree of knowledge bears fruit. And the fruit that it bears is this education that you guys will never get in 99% of the classroom that you will walk in for the rest of your life, even if you go to a HBCU. And what I chose to do as I went to that funeral, I said, I went to the altar and I asked the Most High to take away my willingness to try to save everybody and only let me save those who are willing to come to this tree of knowledge and pick their own fruit. I will no longer be the tree of knowledge and come to you and give you the fruit. You now have to know the value in what I bring to the table. So thank you again, man.
Wow.
Man, thanks again, Brother Walt. You are, as we like to say, mic dropping tonight. Everybody is tonight. So thank you so much for that. Brother Walt, can you do a favor for us as well? Can you put the books that you've mentioned, and mentioned a lot now, I don't know if you have them all handy. Can you put them in the chat?
Yes, I will.
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for sharing again. My brother Fred, how about you? How are you winding down your night with your habits and rituals?
Man, sleep always chasing me. I be working to the last minute. So usually I wake up sitting upright, either something in my left hand of a paper or, just passed out from that. But I'll mention on those nights where I am able to get into bed and I might wake up, how do I get back to rest? And generally it's just recalling thoughts of gratitude and thankfulness and being satisfied with what I had gotten done today, and focusing on my breathing to find a place of rest. But as a practicing Buddhist, I know that, like Brother Walker said, it takes time for people to get, to where they can focus on their breath. But a good time, there's no place like the present. And so what I tell people who are trying to find a place to rest in their mind is focus on your breathing. If you can do a strong 3 minutes to start, then you will get better. After 20 years of Buddhist practice, I can sit still in the middle of a raging storm or whatever might occur because I've found what I feel like is close to my center. I would encourage our listeners and viewers to focus on their breath. And don't be discouraged if your mind is racing at first. It's okay, because that's the training that you've given your mind, is to be racing. So, but the key is persistence and doing it in community with someone who has, a little bit more practice. But nevertheless, the virtue of that practice, when you rest and rise, has phenomenal results.
Bro, Fred, before you mute, we're real big about the practicality of Black Man Lab. What does that breath look like? What, just a demo?
Well, it
How do you do that?
yeah, it basically begins with a posture of relaxation. Brother mentioned 61 points. Laying down horizontally might be a great start. But when you rise, you want to sit with your posture correct. with your feet planted flat on the floor, no shoes on, if you can stand whatever the climate is in your place. And that position is the primal position, to begin to focus on your breathing, and your eyes are closed. In my practice, I do it with my eyes open. But what that does is it allows you to center and focus on one point versus your eyes closed. And now your mind is in charge and it begins to race. So your eyes open, focused on one point, and it begins with that first deep breath, and allow yourself to feel relaxed. And then, what you want to do to discipline your thoughts is always thoughts of gratitude. I'm thankful for my fingers. I'm thankful for my toes. I'm thankful for my eyes, my ears. And you go through as many body parts as you can think of in a routine way. But that's the practical side, is a posture of relaxation. And then, for me, turn the noise down when you're a beginner, and try to find a place where your earbuds are not in and there's no noise at all. Some people will say ocean waves, but then you begin to concentrate on the ocean waves. But it is a complete silence where you can then find your breath with your ears, your feelings, and your heart. And that's how you get there.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks, Brother Fred. Well, look, we have got here to the end. Those of you all that are listening, we want you to know too that we have out there on YouTube, we have a Black Man Lab affirmations, that you can go to Black Man Lab on YouTube and see our affirmation video on there. And it's just Black men affirming themselves on this video. It's quite powerful. It's opened by Brother Paul and Maoli, and a bunch of strong, young and older Black men on there affirming themselves. Again, we know as people that if we don't believe in us, who will, right? With that, I'm going to get us here to the end. We're up against the clock. We're actually already over our time, but I want us to go ahead and close out as we always do. Maoli, if you could go ahead and close us out, I'd appreciate it, brother.
Yes, sir. We want to link arms, because if we were in person, we'd be holding hands, linking arms as brothers. And we take what Mama Queen and Jiri Aldani gave us as a affirmation that I am a link in this chain and it won't break here. I am a link in this chain.
I'm a link
I'm
in
a
this
link
chain.
in this chain.
I am a link in this chain.
I am
a link in this chain.
And it won't break here.
And it won't
break here.
We are links in this chain.
We are links in this chain.
And we won't break here.
And we won't break
And we won't break here.
Ashe.
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 Thank you all again. Thank you, brothers. And as always, we know that when we get back together live and in person, we will have you all in the space to share with the group, and do what we normally do. But we appreciate you being here on this forum. And till next week, everybody, thank you so much.
Live happy, brothers.
We love you.